the whole map of steps.
Yeah. So, we are seeing on the left-hand side full clan mythology. Daz as the green Zerg.
In the bottom right hand corner, 4 clan. Is that clan Warcraft 3?
No, it's a
See?
WeWannaWin clan. So
Ah, we
it's three W's, so W3.
Oh, well, that's actually really sweet. From their blue Protoss player Thebes or Thebus.
Yeah, I always think that whenever I see it. I always read it as WC3, and I'm like, Warcraft?
Oh my god. Just can't wait till they release Warcraft 4. It'll be a beautiful day.
If and when.
If and when.
Microtransactions. We're gonna dumb it down so we can port it to a console. It'll be a third-person cover-based shooter.
Oh, that'd be terrible. We have decided to change the name from Warcraft 4 to Gears of War 4.
We decided Thrall wasn't interesting enough, so we made it into an overly muscled super soldier.
Oh god, that'd be terrible.
So we are seeing Final on the high ground, so that means, well, it's indicative of Gateway Expand.
Yep.
Unless he does an in-base Forge Fast Expand, which is just bizarre. But,
Yeah,
yep,
that's silly.
there's Gateway.
Oh, nice. I like how you can see Gateway Expands a lot more often now in HOTS. And Wings of Liberty just didn't really ever work because now that you have the Mothership Core with Photon Overcharge, you can kind of deal with those little Zergling run-bys and stuff like that. So it makes you just a lot more safe in general as Protoss, so you can go for those Gateway Expands.
And I have always been a fan of Gateway Expanding as Protoss, even in Wings of Liberty, because it just means that the Zerg can't sit and drone. They've got to get lings, they've got to get speed, they've got to be conscious about what's happening on the map. Whereas if you Forge Fast Expand, they can just sit and make so many drones and then go, right, okay, time to play now.
Yep, it's amazing how much faster you can get your tech up when you go for this Gateway Expand, because before you have to wait for the whole Forge to finish, then you start your Gateway, and then you get your Cybercore. Your Warp Gate sometimes won't be out until like 8 minutes. It's incredible how much it delays your tech. So I definitely like Gateway Expand a lot more.
Yep, and of course you do have the option of seeing if the Zerg doesn't scout and goes ridiculously greedy. You can just be like, you know what, I'll just 4-gate them.
Yeah, exactly, and then you can just kill them off with a bunch of Zealots, because if they go really greedy, they're not going to have the Roach tech out, and I heard Zealots are pretty good against Zerglings.
I think that they are.
Especially if you get +1.
We may have to get like a pro player in here to give a final comment and his opinion on that, but I think Zealots are pretty good.
If we're not completely sure, especially with how larva inefficient Zerglings are, it makes it so easy in the early game to kill them off, kill a Zerg player off with just a couple Zealots.
And I'm looking at a pylon here in the bottom left of the Protoss base. I wonder if he's just using that for vision to see when an Overlord comes in, or if he's going to hide something there.
I feel like it may be kind of acting as both. It's using for vision early in this early game kind of situation, but later on when he does need to hide some tech, say it's a Twilight Council or a DT Shrine, if we're lucky, then that'd be the place that he would put it. So.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I do love seeing just unorthodox builds.
Oh yeah. Just like 9-gate on one base. This isn't even optimal, but this is so cool. And
yeah, and then you just innately want that person to win because you're like, this is so awesome because I've never seen it before.
Like if it was every game, it'd be terrible, but on that rare occasion you see it, it's just so cool. Now a Zealot and a Stalker are poking across, which I think micro, they can definitely kill off these 3 lings and a queen. So.
Well, the Zerg player has to micro while he waits for his second queen to come out, which it will. Once the second queen's out, he should go home with the Stalker at least, and maybe leave the Zealot to die.
That might be
good with the Zerglings. Oh wow, he's gonna
really good. Yeah, that was some awesome micro. This Zealot will be able to make it out just because all the Zerglings are dead now, but I'd much rather have the Stalker than the Zealot, which is a big bummer for Thebus for sure.
Really good micro there from Daz, getting the block off on the Stalker, and pneumatized Carapace on patch tech.
That's very early. You think that may be a misclick? Because I know it defaults to the same hotkey as Larva Inject, but he's still injecting, so I guess that is on purpose. That's very strange.
Maybe. It could just be to get a guaranteed scout, like he just...
Yeah.
It's worth the gas just to get a guaranteed scout off.
Because it's only 50 gas, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. It's very cheap.
Yeah,
it's not Ventral. Ventral Sax is the one that's expensive. 200, 200, but every Overlord becomes a dropship.
Which is cool for sure. I'm a big fan of Overlord drops, but that's a story for another game, I guess. Now, the important thing is, when will Thebus know that there is Overlord speed? Because it's very good to know that there's a possibility for drops, just so you can kind of be watching out for them, and it's pretty easy to notice because the Overlords get a lot more fast.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, that Overlord, it's like the Usain Bolt with Overlords. Look how
Yeah,
quickly it flies.
exactly. It's like how I felt when the Overlords first got their speed buff. They're just going so fast everywhere.
Yeah, I know, I do love that. Like, someone made a video of a side-by-side comparison,
Oh, I
and
remember
then to
that
put it
video.
all into perspective, a barracks just comes out of nowhere and overtakes both of them. And you're like, oh, actually they're not that fast.
Yeah, I remember the top comment on the video was something like, "This is the coolest race ever." Just like 45 seconds of two Overlords slowly racing each other.
Yeah. And then a barracks coming out of nowhere to, like, the highway to the danger zone.
It's just like, oh my god, they're still really slow. But some really good creep spread from Daz. I'm quite impressed with this. And there is no observer out, so you won't be able to clean this up. So this could start getting across the map quite quickly with that dedicated creep queen.
This is just gonna be some full game pressure. It's not gonna be anything like he's gonna fully commit to, but if he can, he'll continue to warp and go kill him. And no spine here, which is kind of weird. No units out either. 6 Roach is about to pop. Hydra Den's almost done, but he's gonna have to try and hold them off until the Hydras can come out.
There are quite a few Zealots out here, so these Roaches will do a good job against those, but if you throw down a Time Warp, this can really help deal with the Zealot versus Roach Force. And that's interesting time to force field, but...
And yeah, I think he just wanted to force the units and get out.
Yep, that's probably a good idea. It looks like Daz is going to be going for the Roach Hydra composition, and probably potentially into Swarm Host in the later game as he's getting these missile attacks. This is very good. I really like Hydralisk in the ZBP matchup a lot.
Yeah. It's amazing how in one expansion they've turned from like the unit you should never build to the unit that is actually quite the core of the Zerg race now.
Oh yeah, all because that Hydra speed got added and then got moved down to lair attack, which is such a huge deal. Hydras are, I mean, they can actually disengage now. If you get into a bad positioning or a bad engagement, you can actually run away instead of getting perpetually chased down by stalkers and zealots and really anything.
Yeah. And I mean, as soon as they hit creep as well, like you're never going to catch them ever.
Oh no, they get so fast.
With the groove spines coming down first, it looks like he wants to be just offensive with these Hydras for now and look to secure his third base, which he took fairly late to be honest. But when you're going for the more powerful Roach Hydra kind of composition, you don't need to be expanding too quickly.
No, because the Roach Hydra composition is pretty expensive, but it's not anything crazy. It's not like you're building a bunch of Mutalisks or say a bunch of Infestors. It costs gas, but not a huge amount.
Yeah. But we are seeing him come out to just poke across the map. I don't think he's not gonna put any real pressure on. He's just gonna.
He's not gonna engage. I don't think he's gonna engage pre-Roach speed or pre-Hydra speed. So he might. He's getting pretty close to this ramp, and he's running Zerglings up and in. But yep, it looks like he's just gonna turn back. And the problem here is gonna be that Thebus is going up for a Colossi, which is very good against Roaches and Hydras. So might need to see some Corruptors coming out for sure.
Yeah, but as you say that, we are seeing the Spire drop, so Corruptors will be on their way. And I think he's just doing this little poke to try and scout out, like, what tech have you got? What are you going? At the moment, I just see gateway units, so he's kind of playing blind, doesn't know that Robo's on its way. But I'm sure he will suspect it.
Yep, it'd be nice if he could see one Colossus so he knows, okay, he can assume that there are Colossus coming out, but he's not completely sure, so he's not just going to want to pop 7 or 8 Corruptors right away. That could be such a waste.
You remember when he sacked those Lings up the ramp? They did get the scout off, so he did see the Colossus, but
they saw the Robo and the Robo Bay, I think, so.
Yeah, he saw both. But it did what it intended to do.
Yep, so he knows. So he will be able to pop out Corruptors right away, and that really adds a lot of power to this force, because it's nice, even if you don't kill the Colossi off, to kind of the Corruptors can kind of force the Colossus back, so that reduces the DPS of it in the battle, so that can really make it so your Roaches and Hydras stay alive for a lot longer, because Hydras die incredibly quickly to Colossus.
And with the infestation pick going down, it's really personal preference whether or not he's just going straight up to Hive so he can get the Vipers, whether he's going to go for Infestors or Swarm Hosts in the meantime. So it's really up to player preference what we're going to see come out of him. But he is looking to tech up right now as the Brolyclus army is looking to clean up creep.
Yep, they're going to go across to clean up all that beautiful creep spread, which is such a sad thing for any Zerg player after they work so hard to get all this creep spread and then just gets cleaned up, but I mean it happens. So it looks like 17 Roaches are going to be coming out, which is interesting that there are no Corruptors or Swarm Hosts, Infestors, anything like that. He's just deciding I want more Roaches and a couple Mutas. Huh.
Maybe a misclick.
Yeah, it might be a misclick. He's only building 2 of them.
Yeah, because he's only building 2. If he was going to build
He is getting +1 attack though, and now it's 9.
Oh,
So I
now it's
guess
9. There we go. Because if it's just 2, then you're like, okay, what are you doing? But
yeah.
now that he's going for 9, it looks like he wants to go for that more solidly. But Templar Archives is almost done here, so they.
And Blink is started.
So yeah, the Protoss is going every tech path apart from Stargate at the moment, but he can add that in later, so don't worry. But,
yeah, it'll come if it gets late game. So
yeah, these Mutalisks are just going to be harassing, trying to keep the Protoss defensive for a while.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. If you either have to get the Corruptors to deal with the Colossi in a straight-on fight, or the Mutas to kind of make it so the army has to run home. That way you don't ever actually have to engage the Colossus, at least not for a while, and then you can get up to your Vipers, which are infinitely better than Corruptors against Colossus. It's so nice just to pull the Colossi into your big Hydra ball, and you don't have to lose Corruptors. It doesn't take a long time.
It also then means that like Corruptors, once the Colossus are dead, they're then useless apart from like their ability, which is a damage bonus.
Corruption, which is stupid.
Yeah, but these Mutalisks doing exactly the job. As soon as they were scouted, the entire Protoss army comes back. Colossus actually coming back to try and defend against the Mutalisks as well. I'm not sure whether they got the memo. They can't shoot up.
Yep.
But,
that would be pretty ridiculous if Colossi could shoot air units with their splash damage, but
aerial banings, basically like Scourge that never die.
Oh god, Scourge would be so nice to have in this game.
Yeah, especially since you could kill Colossus with them.
Oh yep, and big Sky Toss armies and mutas and stuff, but that's a discussion for a whole other time.
Maybe Devourers as well, we'll see. But these mutas he built 9, and already he's paid for itself in the gas, because he forced the entire army to go back to his base. He killed a lot of probes, and you're looking at 130 supply versus 180 now, just from 9 Mutalisks.
I mean, he just lost the first Mutas, who's been doing a good job of keeping him alive and microing around, and this has gotten him good map control, so he can do this 12 drones that he's just building at the same time, and 4 Vipers. So.
Yeah, the 4 Vipers are the key thing that he'll need to engage this army, because there's only 2 Colossus. After that, he can drop the Blinding Cloud, and these are mortals, so then become useless, because they're quite slow, they crab walk around very easily. 4 mortals, 1 Blinding Cloud on that lot it saves so many roaches.
Oh, yep, and we don't see the really evident lots of Evo chambers to make for the Vipers to be able to suck up to get more energy, which is interesting, but these Vipers can still attack extractors, or even like the hatch in the main base if it wants to be sort of risky, but they need to do something real to get more energy.
Yeah, here we go. The Evo chambers slightly off time, but they have gone down, so he will be sucking the life out of them for energy.
Oh, yep, very evident.
These Lings going around to look at the potential 4th base and not seeing one, so he's going to be quite happy with that.
They are going to see this Warp Prism move out, though, which is kind of nice, so he'll know that he needs to kind of defend his 3rd base, maybe put down a Spore and a Spine in each base, and you should be completely fine, or he could go 3 Spine Crawlers, that works too.
Yeah, it's something that I do like to see Zerg players do, and he is doing it now. He's going for 2 Spines and a Spore. Is building that static defense once they get to this point where they're doing really well.
Yeah, he has lots of Spine Crawlers in his main base. He's building 12 actually right now.
He really does not want to get counterattacked, and pathing error. These roaches and the Hydras
that's
trying
a bummer.
to go around the low ground, and only losing a few roaches, so it's not bad. Viper's now getting their energy up, and to be honest, I don't think the Protoss army should be engaging this.
No, I don't think he can fight this. As long as the Colossi get pulled in, which is a beautiful positioning from his Vipers to be able to pull in those Colossi. He doesn't. He gets that one, just barely. And it also helps that the Protoss player doesn't have Storm at all, so these High Templar are just going to be for feedbacks, which are very, very helpful against Vipers, because Vipers only have 150 health, so it's pretty easy to one-shot them, especially because how easily you can just like suck up an Evo chamber all the way up to full energy. So this could be the interesting battle, kind of like in TVP, where it's Ghost versus High Templar. It'll be High Templar versus Viper.
But his High Templar control slightly off, had a good chance to go and feedback those Vipers there. Another Colossus gets pulled. Okay, there we go.
Good feedbacks.
Good feedbacks going down, but not before they get the Blinding Clouds off, and that makes it so hard for the Protoss to engage here. All the Templars go down.
He is running into his own Blinding Clouds, though, which do friendly fire. They will affect you as well, but these Roaches and Hydras are just pushing in so quick, especially with 27 more Roaches out. He could do a big push and at least keep this 4th base away from being ever built.
He does deny that 4th base again, but the main thing that he lost there were the Hydras, the Roaches. He kept all of his Hydras, his Vipers stayed alive, and they're going back to regen energy. And Ultralisk Cannon coming down, he's really going to push his advantage here, because all the Colossus died, all the Templar died, all the Archons died. He has remade 2 more Colossus, but it's not looking in good shape, the Protoss here. He's going to run out of gas.
Yep, he is. He really does need to get up to this 4th base eventually because his gas income is just not. It's just not high enough to be able to produce that really high tech army that he wants. He wants to be able to be building Immortals and Colossi and High Templar to morph into Archons like all at the exact same time because you really need it to be able to deal with the potential Ultralist transition because Ultras are just so strong.
Yeah, especially once you get to this point where you go for Ultra Hydra Viper, it becomes such a powerful army.
Yeah, pulling stuff into
mobile, incredibly mobile as well.
Yeah, they're really fast. The Blinding Cloud helps so much because Ultras are pretty much already melee range, so if you just throw that down on top of all of the army stuff, Ultras are just going to be able to destroy. But he left his Vipers back here, and a couple of them got feedback. That's not good.
Yeah, he lost three of them. The 4th one is on really low health, and to be honest, I'd remake all 4, because that low health one is just going to die.
Bill's get killed off so quick, and it looks like he's also going to have Greater Spires, so he transfused the Viper, so he will have the option to tech switch back and forth in between Ultralist and Broodlord is the word I'm working for, just like they would do in a TVZ, which is really good because you can catch your opponent off, like off composition.
He goes for this really robo-heavy tech, which he's doing here. Look how many Immortals and Colossus he has. Broodlords immediately make them useless.
Oh yeah, this really is like the TVZ situation where you build all the Vikings to be able to deal with the Broodlords. You barely kill that army off, and then 12 Ultras just come marching across the map and you have no way to deal with it. Yeah, it's really one of the main powers of Zerg.
Yeah, the tech switch. And, I mean, Adrenal Glands as well, for good measure, good on him. Because you never know when you want those extra Zerglings. So yeah,
on occasion,
everything.
On occasion, the Zerglings are a really nice thing to pop just as support for the Ultralists. You know, they can tank up a little bit, let the Ultras kind of close the distance, because Ultralists aren't the fastest thing ever. I mean, they're pretty fast for tier 3, but they're not Zerglings at all, so. Alright, it looks like he's also pushing across the map. He does have Storm now, and he has a pretty high-tech army, but a couple of these High Templar might get caught off. And
yeah, one Storm goes down in a feedback, but he loses 2 Templar for that, and this Protoss army is now stuck on top of that ramp.
Oh, that's not good at all. These Storms could do a pretty good job against all these Hydras. The Roaches will be able to tank pretty well, but really good splitting and dodging from that. Now he just needs to... He can just pull these Colossi and he'll be in a great position.
Yeah, all of the energy from the High Templar has gone in Storm's way. He needs more Roaches, all of his Hydra's down to low health. And this is a very beefy army for Protoss. He does need to disengage and come back a bit later with more units.
I'd like to see him start popping the Ultras now. He has a lot of money. I think, and the Corruptors I feel like are a good choice, but he needs more beef in front of his army. He needs something to really be able to tank, because the Roaches at this point in the game just can't really tank as well as they had been early on, just because, I mean, they're strong units, but with this many Colossi and this much splash damage, they're not going to cut it.
Yeah, I know. It's just not enough. The Roaches they're also very supply and efficient. You can get an Ultra for 3 Roaches, which I mean you should, but instead going for Broodlords, and this is
I like
great
that
decision. Because with the ground army to help it and beef it out, he's going to be able to prevent the Stalkers from blinking in and killing everything, but meanwhile putting pressure on the Protoss army with the Broodlords.
Yep. Now, these are +3 Blink Stalkers, so if they can get underneath the Broodlords, they'll be able to kill them off pretty fast, but the problem is it's going to be so difficult to get underneath 12 Broodlords with all of this Roach Hydra composition and some Vipers. So, like, even if the Stalkers get underneath, you could blind and Cloud Red on all the Stalkers, and they might not be able to attack a lot of the Broodlords, so this could be an interesting battle for sure.
Yeah, and you see those High Templar at the front there looking to beat back the Vipers. The problem is now the Broodlords are here, and you see the High Templar running as the Broodlings are kind of poked out there for a little bit.
Yep, here comes this big Broodlord army, and instantly 2 Stargates are thrown down because everybody knows that Tempests are so good against Broodlords. I think a Tempest 3 shots a Broodlord, so it's incredible how good they are. The problem is it's going to take a really long time to tech up to him with building the Fleet Beacon, building the Stargates, and spending all the time building the Tempest, but by then he can just tech switch to Ultra.
And then on top of that, he's got to keep supplanting this army, keep adding more units, and he's got to hope that the Zerg just goes home and goes, yeah, I'll let you mine up the gas, I'll let you build up the Tempest, rather than just pushing in now and killing him, which he can quite comfortably do.
Oh, yep, and he always has the option, even if he loses all these Broodlords, which would be sad, there'd be a lot of army lost. He has a lot of bank and a lot of larvae, so he could just remax on Ultralist at really any time.
And then here we go. It does look like he's trying to put on a counter-attack to buy himself more time, but I'm not sure how well that'll work. Colossus aren't the fastest. Oh, good blink in under the Broodlords, but the Roaches in the height of that.
There's the blinding cloud.
Clouds.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then all those Broodlings are stopping the pathing, so He pulls in a Colossi that'll get killed off. This is just really excellent use of this army for sure.
Yeah, this is brilliant micro here from the Zerg player. Good blinding clouds on all of them. And the Colossus is just going to stand there and die. And all he has left is these Blinkstalkers now, so he can remax on any of his units and he can engage this and kill it quite comfortably.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be hard for him to catch these Blinkstalkers and kill them off, so it'll be easy for these Blinkstalkers to be kind of cost efficient if they run around and pick off like a Roach here and a Hydra there, but if ever he gets closed in on by all these Broodlords, he'll just lose this army so fast.
Oh wow!
Like what's happening right now.
The Protoss player going for double Void Ray, not double Tempest, because
beautiful fungal, which is
really good fungal, and another one to lock them down.
That was so good. Now if you can just get all the Broodlings around him, yep, that's the end of that for sure. And I love it how you can actually say beautiful fungal now, and it means it because he actually had to lead where those stalkers are going to go because fungal's projectile now. It's
it actually becomes a spell based on skill rather than just clicking. And oh god, these stalkers are going down to the Hydras.
Yep,
Zealots are harassing Daz's 5th base, but there we go. Thebes GG's straight out, so that ties it up.